Greetings from Cybertron. This is SoundJack here with a review of the Transformers, Titans Return, Leader Class, Twin Cast, and Autobot Blaster. Yes, we're finally getting to review the Leader Class Titans Return toys on this channel. I have all of them except the Power Master Primal, which was in the same wave as Blaster, which was wave 1. I don't have him, so he's not getting reviewed, but I have all the other ones, so they will all be getting reviewed this week unless something happens and then a couple of them get pushed to next week, but they should all be coming out this week, so keep an eye out for that. But today we are looking at Autobot Blaster. If you don't know, he was a 1985 originating Autobot who turned into a Boombox, and in the year 1986 got some cassette partners, and that is his updated toy is a Boombox that can fit his cassette partners that were part of Wave 1 of the Titans Return Legends class. We'll get into that more in a moment. We'll talk about his Dynamaster partner, Twin Cast, first. The name comes from from the Japanese Headmasters cartoon, as Twin Cast was the name given to Blaster, who in Japan is known as Broadcast, to his rebuilt body after he and Soundwave duked it out and both basically died, but they still got rebuilt. But he turned blue when that happened. Twin Cast is not blue. He's pretty much just a smaller version of his G1 self, which is basically what this toy is, though a few more details are a tad more accurate to the original toy than this one. But regardless, you can see he's got a red upper body and black lower body and legs. His head is red with some nice silver and blue paint on there. You can tell this is a Wave 1 toy because there is actual paint on the face. And pretty simple. He's got the speakers on the legs. He's got Blaster's chest, signature tape deck chest going on like he has there. And then on the back you have his Blaster face. This does not normally look like most of Blaster's face, but that's because the Leader Class toys are so big. They have helmets to bolster the size of the heads of the Titan Master partners. We'll get into looking at the full face when we get them into robot mode, but this is what his face looks like just on its own. Predominantly silver, nice chin going on there, slanted yellow eyes, and a black helmet going on there. For articulation, his head can rotate a full 360 degrees, is able to nod back and forth and side to side. The arms are able to bend that far forward and that far back to the face, and are able to bend that far out from the body. The legs are able to bend that far forward and that far back, and the knees are able to bend that far back and that far forward, and to transform you just collapse him in half, and there you have him in the full head mode. Pretty neat. That's all there's to say on Twin Cast himself, so now let's get on to Blaster in his Boombox mode. And again, it is a Boombox. Pretty solid, pretty square. Got a carry handle right there. Ooh, I was a poet and I didn't even know it. Anyway, you got Boombox mode. Not perfect. There's a little bit of gappage to give Blaster like a solid lower body section, and there's nothing to fill out those gaps in. If they tried to cover those up, then his entire torso would have just been a square. So you had to compromise where you did. You got a couple of sticker tampos there that kind of mimic tampos on Blaster's lower self, making and kind of where the buttons would be, since they're not really here on this, unless these molded things right here are supposed to be the buttons on this toy. There's not really any buttons on here. You got the speakers on the sides right there. They are just mirrors of each other. There's this grayish plastic, and then the speakers are all black. The chest compartment is here. The cassette compartment is here. Yellow door, clear plastic so you can see through inside, and a nice Autobot logo with a silver border on there. Now coming to the top, it's just red and gray in there with some holes for things. Underneath, you get Blaster's actual front of the legs, much more reminiscent to his G1 self. The transformation is substantially different on this blaster compared to his G1 blaster, so this is certainly less of a G1 with articulation toy. And then you got the back, and you just got panels and stuff and things. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It doesn't roll, it doesn't do anything, it just sits there. Because it's a boombox, what else do you expect it to do? There is a Titan Master port right here. I'm just going to flip the handle down, so as you can see that. I mean, I guess if you count that as articulation, you can flip the handle down. There is one singular Titan Master port on top of Blaster, so you can put any Titan Master in there. I said any Titan Master. It's a very tight fit, but it goes and it sits, and yeah, no, the Titan Masters can't actually stand there with that up, so that's unfortunate. Blaster is also, as you can see, panel heavy, and he's got a lot of panels with a lot of hinges, especially because he is a triple changer, because he has a base mode like all the leaders do, and now Blaster is just falling apart at the seams. Again, he does have a lot of panels, and he has a lot of hinges because he has to have the panels in different places for different configurations, so it is a little hard to sometimes, if you don't do it exactly right, to get the panels all lined up properly, and if you move him around too much, the panels will start popping off. But again, that shouldn't be too much of a problem for the boombox mode, because it's a boombox. It's not rolling anywhere. It's not like really gonna get played with. Like, you'll probably carry it by the handle a bunch, but it's not like you're gonna be fiddling with these sides a whole lot. So you should be good. Besides that, on to his accessories. He comes with, why did I move Twin Cast off to the side? He comes, whoops, I just dropped his rifle, his gun. That is fairly accurate to his G1 toy, a bit wholly to save on the plastic, but it's there, it is nice, and it is good. And then to store, you can store it on here. There's a 5mm hole right there. You just plug it in there, and there you got storage for the gun. You can see how that looks too. He also comes with this remote. As you can see from the details right here, this is like supposed to be like a player remote. Like, this is like a Sony, a Bose or whatever. So that's neat. So this is something, and then this can store in the chest, like so. It can store either way in the chest as well. There are two Titan Master ports on here, one there and one there, that fit a Titan Master. There is also a Titan Master seat right there for any Titan Master. That's more so for the third mode. There is also Titan Master storage for Twin Cast, so Twin Cast isn't just hanging out by himself out here. You just plug the head into this hole and then stick this tab into that bit right there. I'll just get that in like so. And then you just put that in there, and then you got Twin Cast stored in Blaster. So that is pretty neat. It's neat. It's neat. It's certainly something. And again, the storage compartment does work and can fit the Legends, his Legends partners, as well as the Decepticon ones. But there is a sound wave for that, and we will actually talk about that tomorrow. Yeah, it's just a button, very simple button press to open and close the door. Yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say on Blaster. Just need to get into some size comparisons. So here he is next to Legends class Bumblebee, and you can see how he scales. Deluxe class Chrome Dome, you can see how he scales. Voyager class Megatron, you can see how he scales. And Leader class 6-shot. Just gonna raise the camera up a little bit, and you can see how he scales. And then let's just do Blaster like this way for this one for fun. But yeah, that's all there is to say on Blaster in his boombox mode. So now let's roll right along and get to his base mode, as all the leader classes do. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by untabbing these panels here.
There's a tab here that goes into that slot there, and the tab there that goes into that slot there. And fold that down. Do that on the other side. Fold that down. We are going to come up here. We're going to rotate this all around. Fold that up. Bend that down. And flip the gun out. Get that angled like so. And then we got that arm all set. Do the same on the other side. Rotate that around. Fold that up. Bend at what will be the robot elbow. Flip that gun out. And there are those. You can come down here and actually we got to do a few things here first. First we are going to open this panel like so, and then flip that up like that, and then we can flip that out and around like so. Do that to the side as well. Fold that out like so. Flip, whoops, flip that up. Yeah, this is angled in like so, if you didn't see, because I had the camera a little high. Angle that out like so, and then just flip that panel up, and then we can come in and flip this panel over like so. And there we have blast. Oh, and I forgot, we do fold that down and flip that up. There's this clear plastic bit here that will fold up, and it will come through underneath. Flip that up, and then we can fold that back down. And now we have Blaster in his completed city mode. There are a few other things you can do with this, and one of them is going to be attach this whole thing up here to give that an extra weapon space, and as well as there's a 5mm hole in that chest section, and you can stick the weapon in there, and then you can have that going on as well. There are also a few other ports, 5mm ports that you can stick other weapons on, or this weapon as well across there, as well as 2 on this upper section right there. So that's all the ports. There are basically 5mm ports scattered around Blaster in his city mode. It's pretty neat. The legs have opened up. You can see the thighs coming out there ready for the robot mode. There's the feet going on there. You got a couple nice little panel, like consoles going on, and a little bit of a speaker system. I think that one's going to be, that one would be. These ramps, as you can see, they have some friction hinge points on them, and these are designed to interact with the other leader class figures as well as the Titan class figures that have the base mode, so you can interconnect them. Though granted, the panels are pretty short, so it's going to be a little tight, especially to connecting the cities. And a Fortress Maximus don't seem to, from my understanding, like, I haven't really done it myself, and I can't replicate it on with this studio. But if you connect them, it's going to kind of pull the leader class that's connected up a bit because if it's so high and the ramps are so short. But that is something you can do. He's also got some molded detail in here, tampograph detail. I mean, there's a danger thing going on there. This circular area inside the speakers. And you got, and then again, you got the cannons. Extra cannons going out of here that are out of Blaster's forearms. There's 3 blasters on that side, 2 on that side. Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much it on the details. And just a quick look at the back. Not a whole lot different. You can still store the gun there as well. For Titan Master ports, there are a bunch of Titan Master ports. There's one there, there. Nearly similar on the other side. 3 on that side as well. There's the one there. There are the 2. There are the 2 on the gun, on the remote, and then there's 2 Titan Master ports there, and then you can get a Titan Master standing on that very solidly, if they'll fit. Yeah, like that. It's a little precarious for a Titan Master, I think, but it can, in fact, be done. You can also basically get them in a sitting position and plop them down. Let's see if I can actually get this angled in. Plop them down on this clear plastic thing. Get them just seated on top of that, and it looks like Twin Cast is now manning this gun up flip out. So yeah, you got a lot of fun things you can do with these Sidu bases once you get enough of Tie Masters. You got options and things to do, but again, it encourages you to buy all of them so as you can have the most fun, the most imaginative fun with all of them. And there's Blaster, Twin Cast compared to the Blaster's base mode. And now for another round of size comparisons. Here it is with Legends Class Bumblebee. You can see how that scales. Deluxe Class Chrome Dome. You can see how that scales. Voyager Class Megatron. And you can see how that scales. And move that back a little bit. And then Leader Class 6-Shot. And you can see how that scales. So that's all there is to say on Blaster in his city mode, or base mode. Now it's time to roll right along and get to his robot mode. So we're gonna come here, take the gun out, take the remote out, put those off to the side for the time being. We'll move Twin Cast in his head mode off to the side. So we're gonna come back in, we're gonna flip this clear plastic panel up, fold that one back down, and collapse this one back on top. And then we can close the door at this point. We're gonna want to flip this ramp back in, and then we're gonna come over here, and then there's a double hinge going on right there and right there. I'm gonna fold it out. I'm trying my best to make sure this is on camera. There are tabs that lock that in there, as you can see, into the slots there and in the leg. And then we're just gonna fold this out. And then this groove is gonna fit over that groove right there. And then this tab will go into that slot right there to lock all of that into place. And then the foot we're gonna straighten out like so. It's gonna position like that. We'll flip the toe out and flip the extra console panels in. Make sure everything's folded up. I'm gonna fold the panels at this hinge, and then I'm gonna fold it again at that hinge, and then these tabs will go into those grooves there. And that will lock in, and there you got one of Blaster's legs. Done. We're gonna repeat that on the other side, and I'm gonna make sure, I do my best to make sure it is in fact seen by the audience. So we're gonna untab, we're gonna pull around, and then we're gonna retab in there. I'm gonna straighten out the foot, flip out the toe, flip down that panel, that console stuff, fold it in, whoops, fold it in at the first hinge, and fold it in again, and there you have the other leg all done. There we go. Those just stay there. Then it's gonna be the time to raise the camera up, because Blaster is a leader class and is therefore taller. So we're gonna do that. And then we're gonna come up here. We're going to fold the gun down, straighten out the arm, rotate it down, fold up the gun, straighten the arm out, rotate it down, come in here, flip out the fists. And then we're gonna fold the carry handle back. And then we're gonna take Twin Cast here. We're gonna plop his head on top of that. And then and to finish out his head, we're gonna come back here. We're gonna open that panel. We're gonna fold it out, and then collapse the helmet on top of that. Close that panel up, and there you have Blaster in his robot mode. And I gotta move him back so you can see the whole of his robot mode. And that looks pretty good. That's a pretty nice looking robot mode right there. Very blastery, very bulky, very large, as it is, again, a leader class toy, but it looks so nice for Blaster. Taking a closer look, let's see if I can get better light on the situation here. You can see his head. It seems to be mostly painted over of the clear plastic that is used to make up the visor, but it is painted in red with silver going around the visor. It's a little hard to see the rest of the face in there, and it feels like the eyes are a little short. Like it feels It's really hard to tell, but it feels like the eyes are just barely looking over the lower gray stripe on the visor, which is unfortunate. But again, you really can't see it in the robot mode, and especially from a distance, you really cannot tell. The chest, you saw that before in all the other modes. The arms are predominantly red. There's blacks a little bit at the other upper arms and the hinge. There's a little bit of silver, yellow, and blue paint picking out the details on the shoulders. Again, you got the lower abs that are predominantly red. You got these skirt panels here. You got predominantly black upper legs, and then you got the lower legs that are just basically the undersides of the Boombox mode that I was showing off before. You got the black speakers, you got these black details, and then you got these red and blue paint breaking out those details. And then you just have very simple gray, black feet. And then coming to the back is not a whole lot different. This section is all the same. There's just a handle hanging out there. You just got the guns on the back of his arms, and then half the speakers on the back of his legs. And that's pretty much all there is on Blaster's detailing. His head can rotate a full 360 degrees, despite the fact of how this being hinged. Like, this whole hinge system is attached to the neck socket of where the Time Masters go, and that is all hinged together. So that is able to completely rotate freely, 360 degree rotation. Nothing else can be done, but it can do that. If you do open the head itself cannot rotate on its own because there is a bit of a groove for the tab at the back of the Time Master. Yeah, there's just a little bit of a groove for that to go into fit. But if you do move it out, you do get nearly 360 degrees of rotation. A little bit of nodding, a little bit of side to side, but that looks so weird because the head is so tiny. And you do need the helmet to bulk it out a bit. Arms are able to rotate a full 360 degrees on some pretty solid ratchets. They're a little more solid at those clicks and a little less solid at the forward clicks, but you still get the ratchet going on. You got a ratcheted shoulder joint that allows the arms to bend out that far to the side. You got a bicep swivel allowing 360 degrees of rotation, as well as an ratcheted elbow bend of giving it a 90-degree angle. And then the wrist just fold in on that for the transformation if you think that helps in arch posing at all. The skirt panels are able to move forward to allow for the legs to bend that far forward on some nice ratchets, bend that far back, and bend that far out to the side. There is a thigh swivel allowing 360 degrees of rotation, as well as a knee bend allowing for 90 degrees of rotation. As well as the feet are pivoted. There is this hinge here that allows the ankles to go all the way, pretty much. They just can go that. But there is this little bit of black plastic that like covers up the gap. So like realistically, you wouldn't need a whole lot more ankle articulation than that, I guess. Unless you're really going for that limbo championship or something. I don't know. Yeah, that kind of looks like you just broke your ankles. So it covers up 45 degrees of ankle tilt, and that's all you really need before it starts getting crazy, I guess. I don't know. I'm not good. I don't do a whole lot of posing with my things, so I don't know what's quote-unquote normal range of ankle tilt. Quotations abound. Blaster is able to hold his gun. Now that we're getting on to the accessories, he can hold the gun, and it can still store on his back, like so. He can't do anything with his tape thing, so it just stores in his chest. Same button works. Still able to fit his Legends fast partners, and you can just have them pop out of his chest, like so. Very simple, very cool. There's this little extra bit there that does nothing for Blaster, but does something for Soundwave, who is a retool of Blaster here. But that is all there is to say on Blaster's robot mode. So now we're going to roll right along to a size comparison. Here he is next to Legends class Bumblebee. And you can see Bumblebee's a bit shorter than Blaster at the knee, than Blaster's knee, I mean. Here he is next to Deluxe class Chrome Dome. And Chrome Dome just comes to the bottom of 6-shot skirt panels. Then we got Voyager class Megatron. And if Megatron will be balanced and stand up evenly, we can tell he just comes to the bottom of that Autobot symbol on his chest, maybe a little bit lower than that. He's just kind of like in the middle of the lower half of Blaster's chest compartment door. Blaster, you stay, and then we'll bring in Leader class 6-shot. You can see at the head, Blaster is taller by a little bit, and then 6-shot overall is taller because of the wings. And then, of course, here he is next to the channel's mascots, Soundwave and Wheeljack. And you can see how he looks next to them. Get your wings up there, Laserbeak. So yeah, all in all, Blaster is a very nice leader class figure of Blaster. I do personally think that Blaster should be of a smaller size class, probably a Voyager, to be like ideal for my Generations collection. But this is a very acceptable version of Blaster until something like that is more akin to my tastes appears, and Universe Blaster and War for Cybertron Blaster, Fall of Cybertron Blaster do not count because that is not very G1-y. But this is very G1-y. Not straight up G1 with articulation on this particular toy, but a very smart re-update to Blaster to give him a little bit more modernity and keeping intact like his G1 visual design. But that is all I have to say on Blaster. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and share this video and subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at SoundJack426. Also, please consider donating on my Patreon page to help support the channel. All of the links will be in the description below. Thanks for tuning in. This is SoundJack signing off.